Okay, but it's Noel here from Well Coach KUK, and I'm delighted today to be talking to Dr. Bob Choat, although I know he prefers
No,
just to be
Coach
called
Bob Show,
Bob.
Coach.
Bob.
Yeah,
So, Bob, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, and you know?
Yeah, no, always good, always good. So, Bob, for those who don't know you, perhaps just a quick sort of self-introduction. What would you like people to know, particularly with respect to San Diego?
Yeah. Well, San Diego's actually just down the street from me, like a couple hours away, so it's pretty close.
Mm,
And that used to be one of my hangouts back in my old days, long time ago when I was in the Marines.
right.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So went to boot camp down there and everything. So it's going to be really, really nice getting back to San Diego with the weekly fitness challenge.
Hmm.
Very, very. I still remember the way it used to be, and it's changed quite a bit from what I understand. A lot of the places where I used to hang out down in San Diego are much better, much better. So
I'd imagine, and
uh,
it's
yeah,
been it's been sort of like 20 years since I was last there too. So like you, I'm sure it's been through a lot of changes. But
it's been through a lot of changes. It's been, oh gosh, decades since I was there. Uh, yeah, it's quite different, especially the downtown area.
right,
So
okay. So how long were
yeah,
you in the Marines for?
oh gosh, I did a couple of tours, eight. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was very interesting time.
Mhm.
Yeah, very challenging, and
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And speaking about challenges, see, that's one thing about the weekly fitness challenge
Mhm.
about getting out there. And one of the reasons I got involved with that, and Jeff found me on Twitter
Mhm.
and then eventually on Facebook, is because of the challenges. I love to challenge my clients, and obviously you do too. So to
It,
be able to take them to the next level.
yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? It's between challenging them on the one hand and then
Sure.
supporting them, and so it's like a bit of a seesaw, isn't it?
It,
And
it
it's a
is. It is.
skill that you develop over time as to knowing which one to
Sure.
be pushing.
Yeah. If you ever read the book Flow, if you over challenge a person,
Mhm.
it will get them out of flow. But if you don't challenge them enough,
Mhm.
they'll get too bored. So you actually have to have this kind of fine line. So you can be working in this area. So this is the challenge. This is the area of boredom. So you're
Mhm.
going to stay within area of flow with the client.
And of course you're a massive martial arts person, which you're very sort of humble and discreet about. But it's the same
Yeah,
in martial arts. It's when to use force and when to use the other opponent's force.
exactly.
Similar
Hmm.
sort of principle.
Yes, yes. Again, if you have an opponent in a martial arts and you know your limitations, you know your abilities and your strengths,
Hmm.
and again, if you know the person that is attacking you, you know their strengths and their weaknesses, you want to be able to use, like, for example, if I go against a 300-pound guy, I'm not going to go boom like that against a person.
You wouldn't want
So
to.
yeah, never want to. But there are things that I can do to overcome that person.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay. And this leads on to another sort of passion of yours, which is very much the mindset. And obviously you're
Yes.
involved in hypnosis too, and just literally
Hypnosis, um,
NLP
cognitive
and hmm
neuroscience, psychology, just a number of different things, and
whatever it takes.
whatever it takes.
Mm.
And again, in the area of fitness and in sports or anything, and basically life in general,
Hmm.
and I actually heard that Dr. Lori mentioned this, is about that focus.
Hmm.
You know, whatever we focus on the most, we tend to gravitate towards.
Hmm.
So whether it's a negative or a positive. And when I was working with people and actually saw it doing EEG neural feedback,
Hmm.
and part of it is to get the person to focus
Hmm.
on a program. So if they tended to lose focus, the
Hmm.
program would actually die. So the
Yep.
more they and I was actually able to see the brain waves in terms of their focus.
Yep. So EG feedback is literally matching the brain waves with a computer game type sort of
Yes,
stimulus,
yes, yes,
and you can
yes,
actually see how the brain waves change as a
Hmm.
result of what you're doing, just for people who haven't come across that before.
Yes. So whether a person has ADD
Hmm.
and their attention is going all over the place, I'm able to now get it. So making
Hmm.
adjustments, and again, getting back to challenges because that's a very important part of
Hmm.
EEG neural feedback. So as a person starts gaining more focus, I have to increase the challenge, so to keep them within that state of flow.
Yep.
So then now they start improving and improve in other areas of their life, and then you start developing the neural connections within that. And the
Mm-hmm.
same thing in fitness, you know.
Well, I mean, I've heard that it's the frontal lobes, they're responsible for focus, and it
Sure.
accounts for as much as 40% of our total
Hmm.
brain area. And so,
Yes.
as humans, and particularly as men, we tend to be very goal orientated anyway. I don't.
Yes. Hmm.
So, the question then is there a difference between focus and awareness?
There actually is. Um, but there's also a similarities within there. So
Mm,
uh, focus again, uh, we with the goals we use our reticular activating system. You probably
hmm.
heard of that.
Hmm. Oh,
So
yes.
so the more we focus on something, the more it actually comes about. So we
Hmm.
see it. For example, the buying a brand new car.
Mm,
So if we buy a brand new car, we think this is very special. But then, like a week after we have that car, we see the same car everywhere.
hmm.
Yeah,
And
and
so, like awareness, it's always been there, but we haven't been
it's
focused on
always
it.
we haven't been focused on that. So that's where that focus and awareness comes together. But then awareness goes into a deeper aspect too,
Mm,
within our own selves. I think if we get into knowing everything that's going on around us, that's more the awareness instead of like just having this focal point. Uh, because if we focus on something, we send up blinders. I remember when I was with the LAPD, and our goal is not to be focused so much on one particular thing, but to be aware of everything in our environment. Same thing when I was in the Marines.
mm.
Same thing in the martial arts. But if you start becoming too focused, you set up blinders and you miss everything else. On the other hand, if you're goal oriented, then that's all you're going to be seeing is that area. So, there's again, I think what you said
It's
is
the
that there's
seesaw
there's a
analogy.
balance.
Yeah, the
Yes.
support and
Hmm.
the challenge. And I think in
Yes.
terms of healthy living, I mean, I've particularly seen this in the fitness industry. They've been
Sure.
obsessive about the perfect training program, and then they're obsessive about the perfect dietary program. Whereas
Yes.
now I'm hearing them, they've started to expand their awareness, and now
Hmm.
they start to talk about stress, hormones, sleep, and all the other aspects of healthy living as
Hmm.
the industry evolves anyway, because it is quite a young industry anyway.
It
But
is.
I guess it's also been helpful to have really focused on the training, to have really
Hmm.
focused on the nutrition, but it's definitely time to start expanding because ultimately today people have a lot of balls in the air that they're juggling.
That's right.
No-
That's right. Uh, so within a fitness, been talking so much in terms of one area. Uh, and if you look at all the different training programs out there, whether, the ISSA, whether National Academy of Sports Medicine,
Mm,
everything, they're basically been focusing in this one area. Uh, they're starting to bring in, like you said, other areas of nutrition, but those are additional programs. That's not the basic of their program. I mean, fitness training and helping a person setting goals and everything like that.
mm.
They need
Uh,
to get
Sorry,
go
Bob.
go.
No, sorry, you go. I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you had
No,
finished.
just bringing in more. I think what you said. More of, you know, using the brain. How
Mhm,
all the connections within that aspects are made. And then um, looking at everything, how it creates the whole person.
mhm. And this
In
lead,
order to create an optimal life. Go.
and it leads into another key passion of yours, which is epigenetics.
Sure.
And
Yes.
this is literally how we express ourselves as part of something bigger, that
Hmm.
our genes aren't predetermined as such, but there are many factors at play. Perhaps you're the expert, perhaps you could explain that better than me.
Okay. I'm not going to get deep into the science of how genes are expressed,
Hmm.
but just think of it this way. We have our genes. People know about genes. I've been talking about it. But on the outside, there's what's called an epigenome.
Hmm.
And think of it this way. Think of a grand piano, and the genes are the wires within that piano. Okay, and the epigenome that lies on the outside of it are kind of like the keys. So if you have somebody who's never played a piano before and they go and they start banging on the keyboard and you're going to have this kind of raspy kind of junk sound,
Hmm.
well, that's what's happening in terms of the way our genes are now being expressed because each gene has the epigenome encodes that. So anything on the outside of environment, so that would be the piano player, can cause a certain expression of the genes to be. In fact, every single cell in our body has the same DNA. So whether it's a skin cell, whether it's a muscle cell, a neuron, you know, uh, any other cell within our body.
Mm.
But it's the epigenome that tells how each one of those cells are going to be created to be expressed. But we have other things that's happening within us, including our thoughts
Hmm.
can now go down to express our genes a certain way
Exactly.
and create a certain thing. So behavior, whatever, whatever you believe the most is going to
The,
happen.
the placebo effect, our beliefs,
Yeah.
if we think this is the best dietary program, that can make a difference in itself.
Yes. 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 So
So,
you actually become the piano player. So if you want to
mm,
become a master piano player and you start playing the piano,
mm,
you know, start up here.
mm.
Start with that beliefs and your behavior and everything else
That
to
that's a
express your genes a
fantastic
certain way.
That's a fantastic metaphor, Bob, and I really like that, and I really get it. And in terms of healthy living, we spoke about opening up a bigger picture. This is
Hmm.
where epigenetics is so exciting because
Yes.
we're exposed to all these lifestyle choices, and
Hmm.
we're coming to realize that we are the piano player and that we are determining it as much as it's being determined.
That's right. That's right.
Is
So again, your mindset and your mindset leads to the behaviors that you're going to do, the actions that you take.
mm,
Whether you're going to eat certain foods, whether you're going to get out and exercise, whether you're going to live a less stressful or distressful life, because there's actually two kinds of stress. Stress is actually a misnomer. We have eustress and distress. So you
yes.
want to have more of the eustress within your life and less distress in your life.
Yeah. And so this is your topic at San Diego. You're going to be talking about the influence of mindset on fitness.
Yes. Hmm.
Am I
Yes.
understanding?
Yeah, and I'm going to get even more into the subconscious area of the
Brilliant.
mind, get deeper into that aspect because,
Hmm.
we tend to think, using willpower and everything else.
Hmm.
But the problem with that is that our critical area kind of gets in the way, our critical
Mm.
thinking. So we block, the 90%, which is in our subconscious mind.
Yeah, there's that great metaphor of the iceberg, isn't there? That, 1/9 is our conscious mind,
That's
and that
right.
9/10 is the subconscious. And then if you think
Hmm.
of the captain and the ship, the ship crew is the subconscious, and the captain
Yeah,
is the conscious. So although you think the captain's running the show, ultimately it's the crew. And in terms of the
exactly. Perfect.
subconscious,
Perfect.
that whatever your will is going after, whatever you believe, if your subconscious is working against that, then there's going to be like an inner conflict. And I know that's something that you ultimately that's what you specialize in because you actually have your PhD in psychiatry, yes?
No, actually in psychology.
Psychology. Okay, close.
Yeah. So, but most of my studies actually been more experiential. I
Right.
think I like to take my life learnings. I think
Hmm.
that's more important
I
in
agree.
terms of being able to understand. Yeah, I can take the formalized education
Hmm.
and utilize parts of it, but I don't think that without my background, without all my experiences, the formal education really means nothing because now I can express it the way I want to express it. You know,
Fantastic.
yeah, sometimes I come across more as a street kind of dude, that kind of person. Uh, or I'll talk intellectually with a PhD or whatever. So, but I express things depending on my audience. So,
And that is communication. It's as the listener understands it. And if they don't
yes,
understand it, it's not good communication, is it? So
exactly.
I think that's a key strength of yours.
Hmm.
So, okay. So if we're to sum up today's call and to give people like a bit of a trailer for San Diego and what you're speaking on, what would be your overall sort of take home message for today? Just to sort of, get people thinking before hopefully they're going to attend live in San Diego, which is going to be, it's going to be a fantastic presentation. And I
It
just
is
hope
going to be
I
fantastic.
hope you're streaming it worldwide to people like myself who won't be able to be there in January.
Yeah, I would like to tell people that we are more in control of our fitness than we actually believe. And beliefs is a very important part. So when you come down to San Diego, I'm going to help you to open up your mind and give you certain tools that you can actually use to become uh, not only focused because that's important, but also aware of other tools that you can now bring in and other experts you can actually bring in. But it starts up here. It starts up here. Your thoughts control every other aspects to get you to take certain actions and behaviors. So come down to San Diego. You're going to learn, and you're going to learn use different tools to make your life much better.
Bob, fantastic. I wish you all the best for San
Great.
Diego.
Thank you. Thank you, Don.